lifetime. This is my jungle. The belts, the legacy, the history. That's what I'm in the game for. I don't fear no one. Lions ain't got no choice but to hunt if they're going hungry. This is bigger than pay-per-view, and you BT Sports fans deserve this. Someone's getting knocked out. Beterbiev Yarde, it's Fight Night Live, only on BT Sport.
It's got me gassed up. Now, I'm delighted to say we're joined by the man himself, Anthony Yarde. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. That little video was good.
You hyped up?
Hey, I'm ready.
No doubt about it. Now, listen, this has got to be not just one of the biggest fights in boxing. It's the biggest fight of the year for me. How excited are you? Do you play that fight out in your head? You know, before you go to sleep, you're just thinking to yourself with your arm raised. You know what I mean? The confetti cannons going off, and you in the middle of that ring.
Yeah, I try not to plan it out too much in my head because sometimes it leaves you, you know, having to overthink because you plan out something in your head so much, and then when it starts, everything's different. And then you're there overthinking, or do you get what I'm saying? You're battling your thought process. So for me, it's just trying to focus on the end result, focus on what I'm meant to do, whether it's round by round, whether it's how I start the fight. And my mentality, my mindset, how I'm training the here and now. Because you know they say if you overthink about the future, you're not thinking about the things that you're doing every day. You know, you're looking too much ahead. So for me, I focus on day by day.
That's what I was going to ask you, Anthony. Like going into a fight like this with such a big puncher, and I suppose he'll have to think like this too because you can punch yourself. Mentally, where are you? How you know it's not going to be an easy fight for either guy, but how you feeling mentally going ahead?
It's just opposite from what you said. I'm not putting in my head that it's going to be a hard fight because in this sport we don't know how it's going to go. I could go out there and everyone knows how this fight can end up turning out. There's so much possibilities. That's what makes it such a good fight. But I'm not going to start dwelling on things that are negative towards me. Yes, he can punch hard, so can I. It's just boxing. It's just one of them sports. You know, you get in the ring. I feel like he gets hit probably more than I do as well. If you think about it, obviously it's two different fighters. He's never fought me. I've never fought him. So, with two big punches, I feel like that's what makes this fight so exciting.
The fights at Wembley Arena where you had your very first pro fight. Yeah. What do you remember about that night? Take us back.
You know what I remember was I was first or second on. They hadn't even opened the doors properly yet. Half of my friends that bought tickets missed the fight. It was just a surreal experience. Billy Joe Saunders was meant to be headlining. And I think last minute he had an injury, so someone took his place. And for me, it was just, you know, Wembley, in my mind, it was like Wembley. And I got a second round knockout against Mitch Mitchell, a guy that had really been stopped, really been dropped, really been hurt, really. He was a guy that really took people the distance. I knocked him out in the second round. I jumped on the top rope. And then Tunde was so excited, he jumped behind me on the same rope as well. So we talk about that to this day.
I mean, how nice would it be to go and then win a world title at Wembley Arena and that fully close that circle from the very first fight to winning a world title in the same place?
This is what I'm saying. This is what makes it just like...
3 world titles, Anthony. 3 world titles.
3 belts at once. This is what I'm saying. These are the kind of things that I dreamed of when I started. Being unified. Everyone kept talking to me about going up in weight. I said one thing at a time. My focus, my goal, my dream is to unify the light heavyweight division.
You know, you don't look too much about what your opponents do, and you kind of focus more on yourself. But you both do one thing well, and that's knock people out. Beterbiev obviously has knocked out all of his opponents. You've nearly knocked out all of yours. This ain't going the distance, is it? Surely.
No, I don't want it to. I don't want it to. I don't think it will. You know, he's been dropped twice in these fights. During these rounds, and that's just from getting caught, from what I've seen. Again, the only time I've been on the canvas is from sheer exhaustion when I fought Kovalev, and I gave everything I had. And literally, I got to that point where I couldn't even stand on my feet no more. So it was mainly just exhaustion. But again, that was a piece of experience as well. People say, "Oh yeah, Stevie's fitness and things like that." That preparation, going out to Russia, things that happened after the weigh-in, rehydrating myself and things like that was a task. But again, that's all excuses. But I gained a lot of experience from that.
Yeah, the Kovalev fight, it's in the past now, but that could be something that you could learn from. And in hindsight, looking back, it may be a real benefit actually going into this fight.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like when I analyze myself as well, because you've got to analyze your opponent, you've got to analyze yourself. When I analyze myself, I just realize that I've got that belief in myself now that when I press on anybody, they're gonna feel my presence. It don't matter who they are. When I'm not obviously gonna try and walk in reckless and be getting caught, especially by someone that's heavy-handed. But when I go out there and I'm confident in what I can do, and I'm pressing on my opponent, I'm taking it to them, being smart, because I've never been a fighter that's just gonna rush in, and just start throwing haymakers and things like that. And again, that's what worked against me in the Kovalev fight. When I hurt him, I just done exactly what I said I don't do. I started swinging. Again, that's inexperience. But when I tactically press towards my opponent, there's no one that's been able to actually withstand the onslaught. So again, I've got that in mind as well.
I want to take it all the way back, because whenever you're announced like when you come into the ring, it says you're from Ilford, right? But you spent your early years in Stratford. So our reporter, Andrew Mentz, actually took you back to the estate where you grew up on. So we're going to see a little clip here.
I thought I could never box. I used to watch Mike Tyson fights that happened when I was born, 1991. Yeah. And I used to be like, how was this guy? I used to watch the documentary and then watch the fight, and I'd be like, how did this guy go and fight in front of the world? How? Yeah. Like, I used to get nervous watching a fight that's already happened for him. Because I've become a fan of Mike Tyson now, I'm getting nervous for a fight that's already happened. I know he's won it, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow. But then now I'm having my own fights, there's no nerves.
Is it because you're in it? Like, because also, when you're doing these fights, because I'm not going to lie, bro, if I'm fighting someone, they're going to punch my face, I'll quit, bro. Get me? I'm not on it. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think, obviously, you're saying you're not scared and you go for it and you're such an entertaining fighter. Yeah. Does that come from growing up in these harsh environments? 100%. What's a punch in the face? Do you know what
100%. I mean? No, it's not the whole punch in the face thing. It's your reality.
How was it going back to the estate and seeing maybe like how far you've come from there to where you are now?
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I'm from Stratford, East London. Stratford and Firstgate, I spent some of my teenage years in Firstgate as well. So when they say Ilford, I think that's just because of when I was filling up my most recent form. I had to put my current address, so I lived in Ilford at that moment. Now I live in Romford, so soon they're probably going to be saying Romford. But I did tell the announcer I'm from East London. I'm a London boy, born and bred. I represent London as well. But yeah, doing the trail, going to the old park that we used to play football in, where you used to see all the little fights on the estate. It was yeah, man, it was refreshing. Seeing my old house, it was so refreshing, man. And then again, I saw one of the boys as well that was on the same block, and he was just like, yeah, we're all supporting you, man. He's like, we're so proud, like, you've made it. Like, we've actually seen someone make it. And to me, I don't feel like I've made it yet. I've made something of myself, but because of my ambition, I don't feel like I've made it yet. I'm still in the ends, as they call it. I'm still in the bits. Again, I'll feel like I've made it when I've got over 10 million. I can change generations of my family's lives. I can look after my mum now, which is a blessing, which I'm so happy for. And my family, my immediate family, my sisters and things like that. But I'm trying to go to the stratosphere when it comes to my ambition. So I'm very grounded, I'm very humble. And I've seen what can be done in the sport. So that's what keeps me going.
Anthony, before you go, we got to show you this clip. As you actually attempted to show Andrew where you first boxed in the front garden of your house, right?
Yes. Hey.
And then this looks so small now, but my mum bought me some boxing gloves, like they were black and yellow. And then I used to fight here. we used
You
to
used to scrap hits.
we used to
This is
put on
the
the
first ring.
we used to put on the boxing gloves and do like we used to do body. Sorry.
We love to see it. Listen, all that practicing in front of the yard, it seems to have worked out well for you, bro. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, and good luck on January 28th, bro.
Can I just say before you go, Anthony, I appreciate you coming on, because as an ex-fighter, this is probably the last thing you want to be doing on fight week. So fair play to you, mate.
Yeah, thank you, man. Anytime. Appreciate you guys. Love.